time that it's mentioned in the entire survey questionnaire, cross living. So I'm not really sure um, how they're sort of distinguishing cross dressing from cross living, because it would seem to me that if you are in fact in this weird sense cross dressing, that you are living that reality. That you are having to live with being cross dressed. Again, all outside of the realm of what I understand to be trans, because there wouldn't be any cross dressing. If I started dressing as a woman now, I think that maybe that would make sense in terms of cross dressing. So if it's asking me at what age did I begin occasional cross dressing in the clothes of a woman, well, I'd have to say whenever my parents put me in girls' clothes. I mean, um, but I don't think that's the kind of answer that they're looking for. Um, but this whole like idea of, you are cross dressing. This is you're being something that you're not, um, and this is what we're gonna help you out with. For me, that idea, that concept, is what is humiliating and what is degrading, because for me, I know who I am, right? And all the trauma that trans folks experience comes from the fact that people don't want to allow you to be who you are, and will tell you that you're not that. You aren't who you are. So, humiliating in the way and degrading in the way that trauma is repeated and reinscribed continuously on trans people throughout their whole lives, right? It's the struggle that we have to constantly be fighting against our whole lives, and yet in the treatment or in the assistance that we're supposed to get, it's there. It's like the sort of meat and bones of the approach that they take towards us and towards handling us and dealing with us or helping us or whatever. Um, so that just sort of was a little disturbing and opened my eyes a little bit wider to the fact that I'm doing something that's giving up my control over my body, or my control over how my body is seen and talked about in my presence, right? Because I can control how my body is seen and talked about in my presence for the most part. It's because I've been fortunate enough to get hormones without having to go through this process. Um, and that I've been fortunate enough to have a community and friends and family who are totally cool and get it, and are respectful. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just a little bit scary. Oh, and I had, I don't know if this is like a coincidence or if this is just sort of the universe, how it manifests all at the same time conveniently, but I also had my first experience of being called a faggot by a total stranger, harassed on the street the other night. And it was a little bit scary because it was actually in my neighborhood, just around the corner from where I live. And the dude was sort of hanging outside of a bus stop late at night. I was walking home from the subway station. He was just hanging out, smoking a cigarette, kind of looking around, whatever, not really looking at anything. I didn't think anything of him. I walked by him, and then he started walking behind me. I could hear him, walking behind me, and he spits on the ground. I remember that. He spat on the ground. Whatever, if you're smoking, you need to spit. Like, I get that. I spit too. I don't even smoke. Sometimes you just need to spit. But I feel like maybe it was actually a little bit related to the fact that he was walking behind me, because I continued walking at the same pace I'd been walking, just trying to go home at night. And by myself, and there was nobody else on the street. And I hear him call out this word, and I didn't know what it was. I understand now that he was trying to say pussy. He just yelled it. And I understand now that it was in relation to me. Continue walking, whatever. I didn't know who he was talking to or what he was saying, whatever. Um, and then a couple seconds later, I hear faggot just hanging in the air. Just blurted out, hanging in the air. It's there. Um, Now we both know that I know. Now we both know that he's made the connection. So I turn around, and he has stopped walking, and now he is in the driveway of one of the houses on the street just around the corner from my house. Now I'm not sure if he lives there, if his friends live there, or if it was just a random driveway that he decided to stop in because he was too afraid to continue walking after he yelled out faggot and I realized that he was talking to me and I turned around. I don't know. But the scary thing is that I walk by that house every day. Every morning, every night on my way to and from the subway station. It's an isolated side street. And if he does live there, and if it was addressed to me and it wasn't just a random occurrence, because I've lived here for a few years now and I've changed, I look differently, from how I started out living here as, having hormones halfway through. So, I mean, it could have just been a really random thing. He could have been high on something or drunk or just like belligerent, I don't know. Or it could have been very deliberate and he could have known who I am and where I live. So that was a little bit scary. And, as someone who now within this institution that I'm referred myself into to get access to funding, now that I am crazy, or now that I am labeled with disordered, uh, just having that extra sort of cherry on top of this dude being like, yeah, I can fucking call out you whatever name I want. I can call you out. And it's no skin off my nose. It's totally fine. It's totally expected. In fact, it's my duty to call you out on what you really are. It's just a little bit like, okay. Alright, this is what I have to deal with now. It's good to know. Anyways, this is a really long video, so I'm gonna cut it there, and I gotta go anyways. So, wish you a happy rest of the week, and maybe I'll see you next month.